Now, Destiny 2 was one of the most widely anticipated game releases of the year and sequel to one of the most expensive games ever made. And from next week, it will be available on the PC for the first time ever. As the studio geared up for its release, Radio 1 Newsbeat's Stefan Powell was given exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the team which made the game, Bungie Studios in Seattle.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what they make in this studio here. Now, Bungie very rarely let people in with a camera, so let's get inside the doors before they change their minds.
Hey fellas, welcome to Bungie.
Oh, thank you very much, thank you.
When we say it's rare for cameras to be in here, we really mean it. We're the first people to ever record in parts of this studio. Founded in the early 90s by two college friends in Chicago, Bungie has grown into one of the most successful and well-known games developers in the world. Famous for making the iconic and award-winning early Halo titles, the studio now employs over 700 people.
The first game that I ever published at Bungie was a multiplayer-only network game in 1992 or something like that, when the internet barely existed except on college campuses. It was a game that you literally had to have a network to play because I wanted to bring people together in some way.
Now based in Seattle and responsible for the BAFTA-winning Destiny franchise, the studio is a hive of activity, having just released the full sequel to the original title. A title that was a bestseller and on one hand seen as groundbreaking, but on the other, criticised for being a bit dull.
After the first game came out, there was some negative feedback, some criticisms. Did you take them to heart?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, to a very large degree, stuff we already knew. Like, we knew the game had amazing parts that we loved and a lot of other people were going to love, and that was going to get people to be, we hoped anyway, playing it for years to come. But we also saw the real mistakes we made on the story, for example. I think that was one of the big sources of negative reviews for Destiny 1. We weren't surprised by that feedback. Because when you're a creator immersed in that work, you feel it. But yeah, it was a very sharp and clear message that we got from our community that they expected better from us.
Yeah.
Jason says they learnt their lessons, and early reviews of the console release that came out in September suggest he might just be right. But there's still plenty of challenges facing the staff here. Updating and keeping a living online universe like Destiny 2 going is a lot of work, and in a crowded market, they face stiff competition to keep players coming back for more. They're also working on brand new elements to the franchise too.
One of the major differences between this new version of Destiny and the original is the fact that it's being made for the PC for the first time ever. Now, I've never actually played the game with a mouse and keyboard before, so let's see what it's like.
Making the mouse and keyboard really feel like Destiny has been one of the exciting challenges of this project. What we do is that as you're firing certain guns, they'll kick, and if you keep firing them quickly, will rise up, and that recoil is an integral part of making that experience feel heavy and feel good and feel like you're there. But on the keyboard and mouse, it just meant you were basically just chasing the barrel of the gun the whole time.
Now, I hope you're noticing, but I'm being very accurate here.
You are.
And I tell you what, I'm doing far better at this than I do when I'm playing it on console.
When someone spends several $1,000s or several £1,000s on a gaming rig, you want to make sure that you're honoring the investment that the player has put into it. And so a lot of it goes into making sure that we can render at the capability. Like the monitor you're playing on is a 21.9 monitor, which is relatively new in the PC space. But we've gone to the effort to make sure that if you're playing on one of these, it really honors that that investment you've made.
As well as the PC release of the game, people here are working on expansion packs that are coming soon as well. And it's in rooms like this one that they're deciding what you're going to be playing in the coming months and years.
And everything the team needs to put that together is all here in this one building, from the motion capture area to the sound design studios.
So it starts out with the string motive, and I like the piece right away because it's kind of evocative. This is a stunning number. We recorded over 900 minutes of music for this game. Now, with our game, you never know what a person's going to do. You never know when a battle's going to break out. You just don't know. So you have to sort of have several different options in your pocket all the time, so that when something happens here, something happens there, or an enemy comes out from behind a rock or whatever, the music has to be able to change instantly. We released the Destiny soundtrack the day before the game came out, and within 24 hours, we actually were the #1 selling album on Amazon. And we knocked Taylor Swift out of first place.
Take that, Taylor.
And I love Taylor Swift, but enough's enough.
It's not often you see a climbing wall in the middle of a gaming studio, but despite the pressures of making such a high-profile game, staff here try their best to keep relaxed. That is, if you find climbing relaxing.
There was a novice climber at Studio who was a veteran game developer, and this was his first introduction to climbing, and he actually designed some of our best problems, I think, because he just applied his mind. He sort of applied that level design mindset to it. So,
well, obviously I was going to have to give it a go.
So, left one or right one, would you say? So close. I'm so close.
Now head to the North Tower. I'm sending Amanda Holiday to pick you up.
For our game, a game that's a content game, quantity is a part of quality, especially to our players who are always going to consume the content faster than we can build it. It takes months to make a cool adventure, and players will go through it in 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that's the challenge for now. But what's next for Bungie? He doesn't usually do interviews, but sitting down with us, Jason Jones says it's something they're actively looking at.
We're starting in a very small way to think about what's beyond Destiny, and we're going through this exercise of every time you attempt to do a new thing to surprise and delight people, you risk being ignored because no one cares about what you did. And so I would say you could make your hand pretty tired writing down all the risks going into a new game project. But I would say that unless you're taking on a lot of risks like that, you're not going to do a thing that people care about.